Let's be y'all. This is Jen Fremont. We'll talk a little bit today about attachments. And I have found myself attached to things. Let's just put it that way. And attachment is kind of like forgiveness, because forgiveness is not. You would think that, you can forgive and just let it go, and that's fine. But forgiveness is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing letting go of stuff, because you pick it back up. Different facets of what happened, start coming up and stuff like that. If you still have a relationship with that person that you've had to forgive for various things, new stuff comes up, and like I said, there's different facets of old stuff, and I see the same thing with attachments, because I've found myself, trying to find attachments. I left a lot of stuff behind when I moved here, and I also, furnished this house with a lot of the old furniture from my childhood. I inherited it years ago and put it in storage with the intention of, I'd have a place to use it, and I finally do. So, a lot of it too, if I'd taken it out of storage, a year after I had put it in there, I think it would have meant a whole lot to me. Now, years later, it's like, nah, it doesn't really mean that much to me anymore. Too much time has passed, and I opened up a lot of boxes and stuff, and it was like a time capsule. And I find myself pissed off too at stuff that I thought would be with me forever. And eventually it just got to the point of what's the point? And it's gonna go. Tobacco is one thing, because when I was younger, when I first started using tobacco, it was kind of like, yeah. And I could see myself, way far in life, still using tobacco, and it would be with me forever. But eventually it just didn't do anything for me. The quality of it changed, for one thing. It became something that it didn't have any satisfaction anymore. It wasn't pleasurable anymore. And it was just something to keep the unpleasantness of nicotine withdrawal away. And so I finally had to let that go. And it's been more than, let's see, I guess it's been 2 years and 4 months, something like that. Somewhere in there. But anyway, I don't miss it anymore. Well, I can't say I don't miss it, because, I still see somebody walking down the street, smoking a cigarette, and I think, ooh, that looks good. Or I remember, it takes me back to a certain time when, I could have a drag on a cigarette, and it felt good to do. Which, like I said, eventually it just became something that it was no longer pleasurable anymore. Another one is like Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who, and I recorded a lot of stuff on the PBS station used to have it on, and so I recorded a lot of stuff on VHS. And I thought to myself, someday I want to have this so I can look at it again. And, well, I can stream it now on Amazon, and I've I've watched a few episodes, but I've tried to watch it a few other times too, and it's like there's nothing here. The Yeah, and the newer one, in the beginning it was good, and then it just got less and less and less, and I haven't even watched the female one because the previous season didn't do anything for me either, and it's like nah, there's not much point in this. It got old, and it got the frenetic pace of it just kind of wears on you, and I couldn't watch more than an episode or so because I just couldn't take the constant running, which it became after a while. I don't know what season they talk about, constant running in one of the seasons, but the previous couple of them, yeah, it got to the point of being pointless, and I just didn't. It didn't give me a good feeling anymore. So it's time to let it go, which is a hard thing to do. I mean, yeah. And I find myself clutching at a lot of stuff, stuff from where I used to live, and just stuff like receipts and shopping bags and stuff like that. And it's like, I catch myself doing it, and it's like, just throw it away. There's no reason to keep it, and it'll just clutter your life up. And it makes you sad that when you look at it, actually. And so, yeah, you gotta let it go. And so much stuff. I'm going to give one more example here. I remember, don't know how old I was. I was in my early 20s sometime. I used to go to a lot of concerts, and I collected concert t-shirts, and I wore them frequently. And one of my coworkers brought in a bag of rags one time, for us to use in the shop there. And one of them was an old concert t-shirt, an Asia concert, which I don't really like Asia, but anyway, I thought to myself, how could anybody ever do that to a concert t-shirt? And, I've got some up in my closet there. I don't feel like I can't wear them anymore. Well, some of them are too small, but, they're not me anymore. They're just not me. And a lot of stuff is just not me. And a lot of time passes, too. This is another weird thing. I was putting on a shirt the other day, and it was like, I noticed a hole in it, and I was like, well, this is a brand new shirt. Well, when I think about it, no, that's not a brand new shirt. That shirt's 3 years old now. And thinking, yeah, it's been like 3 years since I bought some clothes. So I remember it in a while back. We were a friend of mine was helping out remodeling the bathroom where I used to live, and trying to turn off the toilet to do some repairs on it. And it was like, well, that's a new valve. And then I thought to myself, no, that's not a new valve. That valve is now 25 years old. You only think it's new because you put it in 25 years ago. So, yeah, attachments. You can't live with them, and you're gonna be damned if I don't know, man. That's kind of become my mantra. I don't know. So I'm getting a little bit long here. I usually try to keep these to 10 minutes or so, but I've kind of been rambling on. So blessed be y'all. This is Jen Fremont.